Thank you, Faye. Very good evening to you, wherever and however you're listening to Game Day on Talk Sport. So he's back. Roy Hodgson at 74 years young, 16 teams managed in 8 countries since he began his coaching career in 1976. 1,200 plus games in. Now he's tasked with getting Watford out of trouble, like he did in his last job in the Premier League when he arrived at Crystal Palace after they'd lost their first 4 games of a Premier League season without even scoring. Took him a few games to get going, but he kept them up. Trouble is, on this occasion, he's only got 18 games to turn Watford's form and fortunes around. They're up against a Burnley side who haven't made Turf Moor into quite the fortress this season they have in previous campaigns. And they do sit bottom of the pile, but they have games in hand on everybody above them in the relegation battle. And Sean Dyche has a shiny new striker to unveil, and he makes his debut tonight for the Clarets. Wout Weghorst, £12 million from Wolfsburg, has come in to replace the departed Chris Wood for pretty much half the fee that they got for the New Zealander when they sold him to Newcastle. And he is one of 3 changes that Dyche makes to the Burnley starting lineup from the 0-0 draw they got at Arsenal last time out in the Premier League. Maxwell Cornet also back from the African Cup of Nations, and Dale Stephens into the starting lineup for the suspended Josh Brownhill. So Nick Pope, the goalkeeper, Connor Roberts, James Tarkowski, Ben Mee celebrating 10 years at Burnley now, and Eric Peters in a back 4, Aaron Lennon, Ashley Westwood, Dale Stephens and Dwight McNeil, the midfield 4, and then Wout Weghorst and Maxwell Cornet, a brand new striking partnership, hopefully dovetailing the way Sean Dyche wants them to up front for Burnley. As for Watford, well, 4 changes for Roy Hodgson's first Watford 11 from the team that lost 3-0 in Claudio Ranieri's last game at home to Norwich. Recalls for Ben Foster, Craig Cathcart, Juraj Kučka and Ken Sema. Dennis is suspended. Backman, Cavaseli and Cleverly all drop to the bench. Ben Foster, the goalkeeper. Kiko Femenia, Craig Cathcart, Samir and Hassan Kamara in the back 4. Maybe Juraj Kučka, Edo Kayembe and Musa Sissoko in central midfield, with João Pedro and Ken Sema wide in behind Josh King, the striker. Still no Ismail Assar. He's getting ready for tomorrow's African Cup of Nations final. A quick look at the benches for Burnley: Hennessy and Norris, Loughton, Cork, Rodriguez, Collins, Barnsley, Law and Thomas. For Watford, Backman, Ngakia, Ekong, Luzet, Cleverly, Messina, Fletcher, Cavaseli and Hernandez. Craig Pawson is the man in the middle, and both teams wearing their first choice colours. Watford are going to get us underway. They're defending the cricket ground end away to our right as Trev and I sit at the back of the tall James Hargreaves stand here at Turf Moor, with the Jimmy McElroy stand away to our left. That's the end that Burnley will be defending in their traditional claret and blue shirts, blue shorts and socks. And I think, Trevor Sinclair, as all players take the knee on the referee's instruction, we can describe conditions as a bit filthy.
Horrendous. We've been having to weigh our paperweights down to make sure they don't blow away, but it's times like this that I'm quite happy that I'm in the media setup rather than on the pitch, because this is horrendous conditions.
You say that, but you're not worked with me that many times. We're underway. Watford attacking the Jimmy McElroy stand, and then straight away Josh King works the ball out to the right hand side. The ball's floated into the area. I'm sure you can hear on our effects microphones the howling wind that's blowing right around Turf Moor, lashing rain as well. Pitch is holding up really well, in fairness.
Looks amazing
to the surface. Now Ben Mee hooks the ball up in the air, Tarkowski rather, but he was barged into, and that will be a free kick to Burnley inside their own penalty area. So the bottom 2 locking horns here in the Premier League. A reminder that Burnley are bottom on 12 points, Watford have 14, Norwich, who are outside the drop zone, have 16 points. So neither, well, certainly Burnley can't get out of the bottom 3 tonight, but Watford can if they can earn all 3 points here, Trevor.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're wanting to do, but they'll realise it's a difficult place to come. The conditions are definitely going to play effects because it is so windy, but fair play to the fans, the home fans and the away fans. They're in great spirit and they're making it a really good occasion.
Bumper crowd for Burnley. they reduced ticket prices as part of Bernley's 10th anniversary at the club, and they're attacking down the right hand side with Ashley Westwood. He was caught late there down the left hand side, and a foul by KMB gives Bernley a free kick that's almost as good as a corner down the right hand side. 0-0.
Good pressure from Lennon there to make sure that he kept the fullback honest with the ball, just about kept it in play, but he couldn't get any purchase on it. It was a short one. Westwood anticipated that, got there first and drew the foul, and this is probably a couple of yards in, about level with the 18-yard line, couple of yards in from the sideline. Dangerous position for Watford to have to defend straight away. And
right and left-footed options for this Bernley free kick. Westwood with the right foot or McNeil with the left. Watford holding a line level with the penalty spot inside the round penalty area. And it's Westwood who'll take it right-footed, swirls it in, it's half-headed clear, comes out to corner inside the area, laid off down to the left-hand side for Eric Peters. Peters with the cross, flicked on by Bernley, hooked away by King for Watford. And now the Hornets are trying to counter-attack, but Sissoko just couldn't take the ball with him. And Cornet tries to win it back, but that's tidied up down the right-hand side by Kuchka for Watford. 0-0 on Talk Sport on game day. 2 minutes gone. Eric Peters for Bernley down the left-hand side, looks to get Weghorst away for the first time inside the box, and it forces a clearance that lands on top of the Bob Lord stand opposite us. Throw to Bernley, 0-0.
Yeah, good pressure from Bernley early on. It was a good ball in from Westwood. Excellent defending, I have to say, from Sissoko. Got the first contact to the ball, but they sustain this pressure and they're just bringing the ball out now to the right-hand side.
Don't forget this championship action underway as well, and Swansea already have the lead against Blackburn live on Talk Sport 2. Michael Obafemi with the opening goal for Swansea. That's live on Talk Sport 2 right now. Blackburn looking to gain an advantage whilst Fulham and Bournemouth are not playing in the championship this weekend. That battle for automatic promotion. Here on Talk Sport, it's 0-0, Burnley in possession. Trevor Sinclair's alongside me tonight.
I'm just looking at the new Burnley number 9, Weghorst, and it couldn't be worse weather, apart from maybe a little bit of snow in there, but it couldn't be worse weather. And I'm just thinking, what is he actually thinking about this occasion? He wants to make an impact, he wants to get off to a good start, he wants to score a goal, but these conditions, he must be thinking, where have I come to?
I'll guarantee you it's rained in Wolfsburg before.
Oh yes.
Almost guarantee that. Here is Weghorst coming deep to pick at the ball just over the halfway line, skips away from him. Sema looks for Sissoko, but that was good covering from Dale Stevens for Burnley, and the Clarets have it back. And here's Aaron Lennon on this near side of the right, feeds the ball into Maxwell Cornet, right hand corner of the box. It deflects back into his path. Now Dwight McNeil, 30 yards out, being urged to shoot, does shoot, and it's over the bar. Foster knew it was going wide, and it's a goal kick to Watford away to our right. 0-0.
Yeah, good sharp play from Cornet there, got the ball into feet, got half turned. The defender didn't want to get too tight to him because he know that he's a really quick player. He looked to front it up and play a little slip ball through for a third man run. It rebounded to him, he played it to Dwight McNeil, who got it onto that favoured left foot on the right hand side and just tried to whip it into that top corner area, missing the target. But very lively start, and actually Sean Dyche will certainly be the happier of the two managers because they look sharp, look like they're up for it, and this looks like it could be a very difficult night unless Watford start changing the tune.
Joe Pedro tries to get in behind the Burnley back line, but James Tarkowski tidies up. Pope's clearance first time, flicked on by Lennon on halfway, and a slip by Cathcart. Weghorst trying to get away, but super covering from Kika Feminir coming across from right back because Cathcart lost his footing in these greasy conditions, and now two players go to ground on the far side. But it's been given us a throw into Burnley, 0-0.
Yeah, great work from the right back for Watford, Feminir. You could see that his central defending partner had gone down and been beat for pace by Weghorst, and he covered round superbly well, as you want them to do, and just cleared that danger up. Nice and alert from him.
It's absolutely hosing it down here at Turf Moor as Burnley try and work the ball into the feet of Maxwell Cornet. He's got defender at his back. It was good defending by Samir, Brazilian who came in the transfer window. One of a few purchases made by Claudio Ranieri's reign before he was dismissed. We've got KMB as well out there, and Hassan Kamara, all players who've come into the squad recently. Here's Cathcart, now back on 2 feet after that earlier slip, tries to find João Pedro, but Ben Mee will win it back and volleys it like an up and under, a Gary Owen, as the Six Nations have started today. with England, Scotland. We'll check in with Stuart Cameron in a little while as to what's happening in that second half at Murrayfield. And don't forget boxing to come. As soon as this commentary's done, we're off to the Motorpoint Arena. They've only just broken down from the Premier League darts on Thursday night at the Motorpoint, and they've set up the ring for what should be a fantastic grudge match. Chris Eubank Jr. against Liam Williams. 8 o'clock with all the undercard. The ring walks for the main event should be around 10 o'clock, I think. Adam Cattrall, Gareth A. Davis, Andy Clark, Spencer Oliver. What a team we have for you at Cardiff's Motorpoint Arena for live exclusive boxing commentary tonight on TalkSport from 8 o'clock.
I actually seen the weigh-in, and both fighters looked in incredible condition, absolutely ripped. So it's going to be a real ding dong that. Who do you fancy?
I'm going to go for Eubank. I don't know. He's flattered to deceive in some of his recent fights, but I think he's got it in him. Yeah. But listen, it'll be explosive. Now, what can Burnley do with the long throw they've got on this near side the right? Connor Roberts, the former Swansea man, to hurl it into the box. He's got good distance on his as well. It's headed up in the air by Sissoko, comes back out to Roberts on this near side the right, gets away from Sema, finds Lennon inside the box, who goes down under pressure, and a corner's been given by Craig Pawson. He had a player at his back, I think it was Hassan Kamara at the back of him. He went down, but no penalty, and Cornet will have a corner. Yeah, he got plenty of purchase on the ball there, good covering round. Looked like Lennon was through on goal, but he just stuck a leg out, got a foot to the ball, knocked it out for a corner, and Pawson wasn't interested, the referee. He knew that there was good contact on the ball. Left-footed in, swinging corner to come then from Maxwell Cornet. Goes to the far post. Foster claims very confidently at his far post with both hands, and Watford will try and get the ball downfield. A reminder that Watford haven't kept a Premier League clean sheet since February 2020. It's amazing. So all this season and back into the last campaign they had at this level, they found a shutout very, very hard to come by. Good job they got Roy Hodgson then. Well, and of course Ray Lewington, who was a Watford manager himself in the early 2000s. Yeah, 20 years ago. When Watford were financially really struggling, and he was there at a very important time for Watford to steer the ship, and he's back. He's not wearing shorts tonight, though, I've noticed, which I was half expecting to see on the other side. That would be impressive. Well, I've seen it in cold weather. I think it was a Crystal Palace game at West Brom last year where Ray Lewington still had the shorts. I was staggered, but no, he's gone with the full long trousers tonight. Roy Hodgson at the edge of his technical area as well, right next to him, just barking out the orders. Opposite us in the Bob Lord stand as Kutchko wins the ball back, and now Watford can move into the Burnley half with João Pedro. King moving ahead of him. Pedro in the centre of the Burnley half. Lovely skill from João Pedro, tried to thread it through to King, but there are enough claret and blue shirts back in the end to get the ball out of play, and it's a throw to Watford on this near side. Lovely silky run from João Pedro there. Yeah, he moves well with the ball. He's got good balance. He can go both ways, and he's shown that there. And Burnley just about had enough numbers around him to try and nick the ball away from him and concede the throw-in. 9 minutes gone on TalkSport. On game day, Burnley 0, Watford 0. Ian Danter and Trevor Sinclair with you at a windswept, rainy Turf Moor. And here is Ben Foster, left-footed clearance up in the air. King goes up with Ben Mee, gets something on it, and Sissoko will guide it out to the right-hand side, and Kiko. And he has to work it back in his own half, and Cathcart a little more sure-footed this time than he was before. Samir out to this near side, and Camera gets his head up and hits a diagonal ball into the centre of the half, looking for King. He was trying to chest it onto João Pedro, who was drifting beyond him, but it got away from Josh King, and Nick Pope will just roll the ball outside of his own penalty area, and he will now drive it strongly downfield, looking for Weghorst. Gets the flick on, Cornet's onto it at the edge of the area, takes it round the defender, goes for goal, and it's pushed round the post for a corner by Ben Foster. There's link-up play from the new striker and Maxwell Cornet. Corner to Burnley, 0-0. Yeah, a little and large show. We expected that. It was a good ball into Weghorst. He got first to it. Nice little flick. Cornet was already anticipating that, almost playing in the future. Got on the end of it. Just split the two defenders. Got it onto his right foot and went for the near post. It's a good save in the end by Ben Foster, but I think warning signs there. Exactly what Burnley are trying to do in this game. Cornet's left the corner kick for Westwood to take. It goes to the edge of the area, it's headed out, and there was a push on a Watford player spotted by Craig Pawson, and it's a throw in to a free kick rather to Watford. You're listening to Burnley 0, Watford 0 on TalkSport with now Don't forget, with an Our Sports Day membership, you can stream all the Sky Sports action for just £9.99 without a contract. Search Now Sports for all the details.
Excellent bit of playing, great understanding. They've obviously done some work. Sean Dyche, since Veghurst has been into the building and at the training facility, the new training facility that Burnley have built, and that worked a treat there. Good save in the end, it was definitely on target, and Ben Foster got a good 2 hands to it.
Yep, best chance of the game so far, with 11 and a half minutes gone on TalkSport. What a busy game day we've had with FA Cup action. West Ham never in doubt, right, Trev, against Kidderminster, never in doubt. Chelsea edging out Plymouth in the end in our TalkSport 2 early commentary after West Ham beat Kidderminster with pretty much the last kick of the game.
So harsh, cruel game.
And some important games this afternoon. Southampton needing extra time to get past Coventry at St Mary's today. And Frank Lampard in his first game as Everton manager, a 4-1 win against Brentford will set things up nicely for the tougher relegation battles to come for Everton, because they are in a bit of a battle.
They're in there. Well, they're 15th, 16th in the league, only a couple of points above it, so they know exactly where they are.
Conor Roberts with a long throw into the Watford box, and Cathcart just puts his left foot through it and sends it back where it came from for another long throw to come. Yeah,
Roberts has impressed me down this right hand side for Burnley. Got a few good touches on the ball, nice link-up plays. Obviously got this as a weapon in his artillery. Long throw, which again, it fits the profile. Burnley, they've got a lot of tall physical players.
And it comes again from Roberts to about the edge of the 6-yard line. Comes out to Peters. It's driven and deflected wide for a corner to Burnley. I think it was on target. Foster had flung himself to his right, but it deflected wide for a corner on the far side where the Bob Lord meets the cricket end, 0-0.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, if you're not winning that ball, make sure that the defenders from Watford are not coming through and launching it 30, 40 yards out of the box. They made them just about get contact on it. It went to the edge of the box, landed at Peters. It was quite a nice controlled volley.
Here comes the corner for Burnley, deep to the far post, and it just misses out Tarkowski and me at the far stick. Watford will clear it, but there's nobody in a yellow and black shirt on halfway, so it's retrieved by Conor Roberts, who's the last man. He tries to float it down the inside right channel, bounces once, twice, and over for a goal kick to Watford. 0-0 on TalkSport with 13 and a half minutes gone. I mentioned the boxing coming up tonight at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And if you love your boxing, Monday morning on the Sports Breakfast on TalkSport, what a lineup of guests that Laura has got with her. She's going to have Eddie Hearn, boxing promoter of course, Jake Paul and Katie Taylor.
Wow.
One of the trailblazers for women's boxing. Going to be joining Laura and Ali and Jamie O'Hara from 6 o'clock Monday morning to pick the bones out of what happens between Eubank Jr. and Williams tonight, which is live straight after this commentary on TalkSport, plus plenty of other things to discuss on the Sports Breakfast from 6 in the morning on Monday. 0-0 with Burnley coming forward with Conor Roberts, gets the aid of a deflection off Ken Semmer. Good run down the right hand side, and he's won a throw. That is where Burnley are concentrating most of their work, Trevor Sinclair. That's right.
They are, but they've still got the outlet of McNeil, so when the game does start to slow down and little spaces start to open up, if Watford commit too many players down their left to stop Roberts getting the ball, they've always got the switch out to McNeil, who's a threat himself.
Roberts' latest long throw drops at the edge of the area, and Dale Stevens tried to keep it down, and the wind held the shot up as it looped in the air, but it did go over Ben Foster's crossbar in the end.
Very ambitious.
Yeah, he saw the goal frame, saw the ball dropping out of the sky and fancied it. Wasn't exactly Trevor Sinclair at Loftus Road against Barnsley in the FA Cup, was it?
It's a difficult one, Dan, because it is so windy and with the rain as well, and it wasn't the perfect ball in, so he was just trying to improvise and just snatched at it a little bit harmlessly over the bar.
Rain still hammers down here in Lancashire. 0-0. Watford send the ball over halfway, asking Josh King to give chase, but Nick Pope just elects to put it out of play under a little bit of pressure. So Jean Pedro trying to retrieve the ball quickly for a throw, but it's just skipped away from him on this near side, and the throw will be only about 10 yards or so inside the Burnley half of the field. It'll be Hassan Kamara to take it.
Just a little highlight there of one of Pope's, probably his weaker parts of his game with his feet. He should really try and do better and keep that in play. He's unable to do that, and it goes out for a throw, and they've got to deal with a little bit of pressure now down this left-hand side for Watford.
Yeah, Kamara again, recently arrived from Nice in January, the left-back. Takes the throw down the left-hand side, looking to keep Semmer in the game, and the Swedish winger, he's got Connor Roberts at his back. In fact, he's got two Burnley players at his back. Now takes it down to the corner flag, and they both try and negotiate their way around the corner flag, and eventually Semmer is penalised for a pull of the shirt, and Burnley have a free kick. 0-0, 16 minutes gone on TalkSport.
Yeah, under fierce pressure there, Roberts again, in his own right back position, just around the corner flag, and he does so well to use his body to just protect the ball, and in the end he draws a foul from Semmer. Excellent play from the right back.
Just a reminder that as well as the boxing live at 8 o'clock on TalkSport, there is another FA Cup tie that we're bringing you live on TalkSport 2 at 8 p.m. A little matter of the All Premier League affair between Spurs and Brighton. Jim Proudfoot and Matt Holland will be your commentary team for that cup tie. That's at the same time as the boxing. Spurs Brighton on TalkSport 2. Do yourself a favour, get the app downloaded from your app store, and the TalkSport app will allow you to swipe effortlessly between TalkSport and TalkSport 2 and pick out our range of podcasts and see the schedule of all the live football that we've got coming up for you from all the different competitions. Here is Hassan Kamara for Watford, inside his own half, floats the ball over halfway. Tarkowski goes to ground, it's picked up by Josh King, finds Pedro inside the area. Pedro steps inside a defender, and then brilliant defending in the end by James Tarkowski to stop the shot coming in from João Pedro, and it's fired downfield by Pope into Cornet, tries to work it out left for McNeil, but Kiko Femini has stepped in front, otherwise McNeil would have been away down the Burnley left. Instead, Watford have it with Sissoko on halfway.
Really good intensity to the game. Firmino did really well there defending. It was a good breakaway after that goal scoring opportunity by João Pedro. Excellent tackle, I have to say, by Tarkowski, because he'd initially gone down too easily. The referee told him to get up. He switched on, got back round, got himself between the ball and the goal, made probably a goal scoring saving tackle, and then the ball went up the other end, and McNeil was just about to get on the ball, and it's excellent work by Firmino.
Many thought James Tarkowski was going to be one of those players spirited away to Newcastle United in this transfer window, but he's still here and still maintaining this very strong partnership with Bernley at the heart of the Burnley defence. 18 gone, 0-0.
He's done really well, because a lot of players kind of down tools and try and protect themselves rather than do what they're being paid to do, and which is play for the club and try and get points for the club. But you can't question anything about his integrity, because he's been first class.
Connor Roberts rolls the ball down the right hand side. He thought that Maxwell Cornet was making a run down there. He wasn't. Ben Foster comes to the left hand side of his box and thumps it downfield. It will drop for João Pedro after King won a header, but he was fouling Tarkowski in the process, and he gets a yellow card for use of the elbow, I think, or the forearm at least. Here's Josh King, and Tarkowski, he's not going to need any treatment, but he has won a free kick, and the first yellow card of the game goes to the Watford striker. Yeah,
I'm just watching the replay. I don't think there's much in it. You know, Josh King has obviously put his arm up. You put your arm up a little bit to protect yourself. It's more like a forearm. It's not a pointed elbow where you see him fling it back to try and catch Tarkowski. It's more he's just leaning with it to try and protect himself, so there's no head collisions between him and the defender, and he's caught Tarkowski straight in the nose, and he's gone down. But he did go down earlier from a really light challenge, so he's not doing himself any favours by doing that, Tarkowski, but Pawson deemed that a foul, and he got the yellow card for Josh King.
19 gone on TalkSport, 0-0. Trevor Sinclair alongside me, Ian Danter. He's hogging the monitor that we've got to watch the replay.
Can't even turn it for you.
The game's gone. Peters, left-hand side, kicks it away from João Pedro. Dale Stevens has to work it back to Tarkowski inside the centre circle. He's closed down by King, hits it long down the inside right channel, asking Cornet to give chase. He's going to be offside. The flag does go up, even though Samir did well at the back for Watford and retrieved it first. Burnley, their 3-1 win against Brentford, their only home win, but they've only played 7 times here at Turf Moor this season because of the postponements and COVID. They are a bit behind everybody else, but 4 draws, so they've not been beaten regularly here, Trevor Sinclair. They've just only got the 1 win to show for it, which was against Brentford.
Yeah, listen, once the games catch up, we'll get a clearer idea of where they're supposed to be in the league. We've got a couple of games in hand, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get them. This is the first one at hand, and they'll be trying to get all 3 points in this game.
It's only Manchester United next up here.
We have got quite a difficult run. I was looking at
Liverpool as well, straight after that, and then away at Brighton, home to Spurs, and
it's the Premier League.
Away at Palace.
No easy games.
None at all. Throw in down the right-hand side, this near side from Connor Roberts. Weghorst trying to make a nuisance of himself, and he wins a throw. Was knocked out by Kayembe. And they take the throw quickly down the right-hand side, looking to get Aaron Lennon away. In steps Weghorst on this near side, and now Connor Roberts works it to the centre of the half for Dale Stevens. Stevens has Peters just to his left. He takes a touch and works it out to Dwight McNeil, who's not seen much of the ball out on the Burnley left in this opening quarter of the game. 0-0. Now the ball's worked back by Burnley to their goalkeeper Nick Pope. Drives it first time up to the half line. The win holds it up, drops for Ken Sema, but a heavy touch allows Burnley to win it back. Roberts again plays a fairly short pass, but Pope will get there ahead of Josh King. Clears it up to halfway, and then it's driven downfield by Hassan Kamara, and it's two bounces and through to Nick Pope. You can hear the locals here, Trevor Sinclair, just trying to encourage their team to get a bit more control. Yeah, they're here to get out. I think Watford, they look a little bit, when you're looking at the intensity in possession, out of possession, they look a little bit passive. Out of possession, it's like, oh, we've got to run out there again. And Burnley are moving the ball around very well. As I say that, it just puts a little bit too much on that, and it runs out of play for a goal kick for Watford. But in general, they're moving the ball. There's a nice slickness to the pitch, and the Burnley players seem to have adapted really well to that. You're listening to Burnley 0, Watford 0 on TalkSport with We Buy Any Car. Sell your car in under an hour, leaving you more time to enjoy the football. Watford coming forward at 0-0. The attempted cross from Kiko Femenia swirls behind for a goal kick for Burnley away to our left. Now, there are plenty of people here tonight that they did offer a bit of an incentive for season ticket holders as part of this 10th anniversary that Ben Mee has of being a player here, where season ticket holders could buy an extra half a dozen tickets for £10 each. The filthy weather's kept a few away from Turf Moor tonight, I think it's fair to say. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's still quite busy, but yeah, you have to say, I hope they've got good waterproofs, because a lot of the fans who are not undercover will be getting absolutely soaked. I will at full time when I go down to speak to the managers. This coat isn't waterproof, I'm in trouble. 0-0. Played 24 minutes on TalkSport. Lovely turn on the right hand side from Joas Kuchka, but then he just can't get the ball out from his feet, and Burnley win it back, but then Kuchka steps in and wins it back again for Watford, driving for the edge of the area. He's got Pedro, tries to play across the face of goal, and he played it behind Josh King, but Sema retrieves it on this near side by the corner flag. Sema, right-footed ball into the box, right drop for Kuchka at the far post, vital touch away off the head of Eric Peters for a Watford throw, 0-0. Yeah, good play by Kuchka, drove into the box after losing the ball, then winning it back, drove into the box, looked like he was going to shoot on his left-hand side and puts loads of disguise, passes the ball to his right, thinks his teammate's going to take the shot, he puts it across and there's no one in the box. But good little move there for Watford, and we started to go into this game a little bit in the last 5 or 10 minutes. 24 minutes gone, Watford in possession with Cathcart, plays a diagonal ball up to the edge of the area, might drop in for João Pedro, good defending though in the end from Tarkowski, again slides in to keep it away from the Watford players, and then Westwood calmly guides it down for Stevens, midway point of his own half. Peters for Burnley, floats it out to this near side for Connor Roberts, just stops on halfway and looks up. Aaron Lennon is there with him, work back into the Burnley half for Tarkowski, early ball out to the left hand side for Eric Peters. McNeil's made a run ahead of him, but has to go back up to square to Ben Mee. Now he hits it long, looking for Maxwell Corney, but Samir heads it away for Watford. Burnley have it again, right hand side with Connor Roberts, 10 yards inside Watford territory, rolled forward by Westwood to Corney, and then touched by McNeil, looking for Weghorst. He was waiting for the ball to run across his body, and that allowed a player to get it away, but Burnley have it back. McNeil at the edge of the D, works it left for Peters, across for Westwood, urged to shoot, rolls it right to Aaron Lennon. Lennon's cross just gets away from Weghorst, who was at the far post. Cathcart, a vital touch, and it's cleared downfield by Watford, but it's out of play for a throw. Brilliant play. Brilliant play, I have to say, by Burnley. They're probing, they're asking questions, this Watford defence, and they're asking Roy Hodgson, have you done the work with this back four unit? And at the moment, they're sticking to the task, but it's almost the last ball in from the right hand side by Connor Roberts. It looked like it was going to land on Weghorst's head, and it's just flicked out of his control. Brilliant little bit of passage of play there from Burnley. It's Trevor Sinclair, you can hear alongside me, Ian Dancer here on TalkSport with 26 minutes played. It's currently 0-0 between Burnley and Watford. And for the latest odds, you can head to Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Burnley to win at 11-10, the draw 7-2, Watford 9-4. That's all thanks to Betfair, where you get no cash-out suspensions on match odds on under 18s. Oh, sorry, I'll just break off on that for a minute because Burnley were nearly win. So you get no cash-out suspensions on match odds and over/under goal markets on football. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. But Burnley were hovering around the edge of the Watford penalty area, but they just couldn't find the right pass from Aaron Lennon, and Watford get the ball downfield, and it ends up, Trevor Sinclair, being a throw at 0-0.
Yeah, they're asking a lot of questions off this back four unit of Watford. You know, Kamara, Samir, Cathcart and Firmino are being asked lots of questions. At the moment, they're just about holding on to this 0-0, but the more questions, there seems to be a different intensity about the play from Burnley. They're moving the ball quicker, they've got more options, everyone seems to want the ball. Just watching Aaron Lennon
just being caught, just clipped by camera.
But they've got a great intensity about the work, the passing, the movement.
Poor free kick from Tarkowski. Watford have it back. Josh King, midway point of the Burnley half, looking to run at Tarkowski, sticks his foot in, stays on his feet and wins it back. But then they give it away again. It's worked out by Kayembe. Out to the right-hand side. João Pedro got Sissoko on the overlap. Sissoko drives it into the area. Only half cleared. In steps Kuchka. Right-hand side of the box. Drives for the ball on. Across for King. Swing and a miss. Couldn't connect. Semmer, left-hand side of the area. Drives it across and Tarkowski gets a touch. It just has him to go straight through Josh King from that cross from the right. 0-0.
Yeah, Kuchka does really well. Steps onto a second ball. Gets there first. Pushes it down the right-hand side and puts a delicious ball in. Josh King anticipates. Tries to get across the defender, just can't get a touch on the ball, but this is good pressure now from Watford.
Approaching the half hour on TalkSport on game day. Another live commentary for you. We brought you games from Kidderminster, from Chelsea, from Everton, and here we are now at Turf Moor, the only Premier League game of the day. 0-0 between the bottom two. 30 minutes gone here at Turf Moor on TalkSport. Burnley 0, Watford 0. Watford in possession with Samir at the back, just in front of his own 18-yard box. Squares it right for Cathcart now. Kicker Feminier gets his head up and drives the ball down the right-hand side, asking Josh King to give chase, but the wind just lets it drift out of play for a throw to Burnley on the left-hand side. Watford 2 points off Norwich with a game in hand. They've conceded 40 this season. Watford, only Norwich and Newcastle have conceded more in the Premier League this year.
Incredible. Certainly need to show that up if you want any chance of staying in the Premier League.
Good control by Kayembe on halfway. Feminier plays it down the right-hand side. Now it's worked infield for João Pedro. Good skill from Watford. King's down the right-hand side. Pedro's gone into the box with Semmer. King, they're going to take on Bernley. Back heels it, looking for Feminier. Good crossing, but it goes over the heads of João Pedro and Semmer, but it's picked up by Hassan Kamara. Left-hand side for Watford. Level with the edge of the Burnley penalty area. They're going to take on Lennon. Wins a corner off Lennon at the Jimmy McElroy end away to our left. 0-0, Watford corner.
Yeah, both Kamara and Firmino on the right-hand side, Kamara on the left-hand side. The two full-backs for Watford are getting forward on the ball into dangerous areas. Firmino put a really delicious ball in there. It ended up missing everybody, but on the other side, Kamara picked it up and was looking to get it back in. He's won his team a corner, so nice commitment from both full-backs for Watford.
And Kayembe will take this corner kick for Watford, where the Jimmy McElroy meets the James Hargreaves that we're sat in. Left foot to delivery, looking to the edge of the area, but it hit the first defender.
Yeah,
headed clear.
Criminal that dance. As the corner goes in, you've got a lot of bodies in there. Everyone's committed to try and get in first contact, and you're hitting the first man in defence. Poor play that.
So it's a throw instead to Watford. Right in front of, or right beneath our commentary position. I'll say in front, it's about 60 feet down there. We are proper bird's eye view up here, aren't we, Trevor?
We are.
You need gas and air to get up to this particular press box. Cleared downfield by Ben Foster, back in the Watford side tonight. Flicked on by João Pedro, but Bernley tidies up to make sure that King can't get in behind him. Connor Roberts for Burnley fires the ball up to Weghorst, who keeps the ball down well on halfway. Fired forward by Westwood, and Aaron Lennon skipping infield from the right-hand side, feeds it to Cornet, trying to give it back to Lennon, who was charging through the middle, but it just got away from the former Spurs man and dribbled through to Foster. 0-0.
Yeah, I think we've just seen a really good example of how, although Veghorst is 6'6", he's got great control. Brought the ball down in his chest, made a nice little layoff into Aaron Lennon, who took the ball forward, made a little 1-2 with Cornet, and the ball was just a little bit overhit and he was unable to get to it, but good little bit of play again down this right hand side for Burnley.
You wanted to say good touch for a big man, but you just couldn't bring yourself to
I'm not saying the cliches.
Ken Sema forced back into his own half by Veghorst, and he's gone to ground. I think he was caught accidentally by Veghorst, and the Watford number 12 has stayed down clutching his head.
It's head injury, yeah.
Craig Pawson's still playing on, and so are Watford. They're not exactly putting the ball out of play. Now Sissoko tries to do that, and Sema was clutching the back of his head. I think it was like the shin of Veghorst that connected with the back of his head as the challenge came in.
I thought it was a flailing arm. He made the challenge, but I think there was a flailing arm in there, and it might have just caught him round the back of the head.
Well, he's being helped up by Veghorst. I don't know whether he wants to be helped up, Ken Sema, but Veghorst has stepped away. What have you made of his opening 33 minutes in English football then so far, Trevor Sinclair?
I've been impressed, Ian. You know, like I said just then, I think his touch is good. He's not all about size. He gets himself in dangerous positions when the ball's out wide. His movement's good. But like I said earlier, his touch, bringing the ball into play, bringing plays into plays, link-up plays really good. Forget about the size. He reminds me of a little bit like Peter Crouch. You know, the way he plays, he's got the same kind of look about him, the way he runs. But he's certainly not just a guy that you're going to hit in the air and hope that he gets the flicks. He's got a lot more about his game.
Pretty much a goal every other game record when he played at Wolfsburg, and before that at Alkmaar, when he was there before. Got a couple of goals for his country as well in 12 caps for the Netherlands. Here is Ben Mee for Burnley at the back. Just over 10 minutes to half-time on TalkSport. 0-0. In this battle of the bottom two, Roberts tries to roll it over halfway looking for Veghorst, but that was comfortably picked up by Hassan Kamara. And now Kayembe feeds it back to Samir. Samir sees the run of João Pedro through the inside left channel, just couldn't bring the ball out of the sky as it dropped over his left shoulder, and it bobbles behind for a Burnley goal kick away to our left. 0-0.
Yeah, the wind just got behind that. I think it was the right kind of ball. He probably just picked out the wrong golf club if you're talking about golfing terms. He's hit a 7-9 and he probably needed to hit a 9-9 just so it sat down a little bit and spun back and stayed in play, but once the wind caught hold of it, it just raced away from San Pedro.
Trev, you could hit it with a putter in these conditions and it would carry. Never mind a 7-iron. It's brutal conditions for the players out there in front of us. 0-0, and we played 35 minutes, so just less than 10 to the break on TalkSport.
And if anyone's just joining us, I think 0-0, you know, Burnley against Watford, typical, but this has been a really entertaining opening 35 minutes, hasn't it?
There's been lots of tempo, lots of endeavour.
Not bad quality, it's just that final touch, I think. That's
the final chances eluded them for both sides, although Ben Foster did make a good save from Maxwell Cornet inside the box. It is a free kick to Watford on halfway. It's going to be taken by Samir quickly, sends it out left to right, looking for Kuchka, nods it down intelligently for Josh King, gets beyond him, but João Pedro pokes the ball back to Sissoko. He keeps it away from Veghorst, and now Kiko Femenia plays the ball down the right hand side, and Kuchka, well, I was about to say good quick feet from him, but then he tricked himself and put it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, initially good feet. The ball just got caught under his feet a little bit, and I think he backheeled it out for a throw in.
Now Stevens has given the ball away for Burnley, and Watford have it back with Semu, who's now drifted down the right hand side as Kiko moves in field, looks for Kayembe in the centre of the Burnley half. Camera moving up on the left hand side, a few yellow shirts around the edge of the box, tossed into the area by Camera, but a good claim from Nick Pope on the 6-yard line. 0-0.
Yeah, he dominated his box there. Nick Pope, superb. Big, loud early call. You know, when you're a striker and you hear that big early call, you think, do we really want to get involved in this? And great take.
Well, Cornet's gone down under pressure from Samir, and the fans in front of us are imploring with Craig Pawson, actually, as is Ashley Westwood, as to why that hasn't been given us a free kick. He's allowed play to go on. Watford get the ball downfield, and a strong header into the Watford half from Tarkowski. Just wouldn't stick for Veghorst. And Watford clear downfield. And now to play it goes for a Burnley throw inside their own half. for Connor Roberts to take.
I think Connor had a reasonable argument there. You know, he's receiving the ball, he's side on, he's keeping the defender as far away as possible from the ball, and he looks to control the ball with the outside of his right boot, side on, and the defender almost just comes through the back of him. And Craig Pawson deemed it not really a foul, and play continued, but I think that was quite harsh on Cornet.
He is Burnley's top scorer in all competitions with 6, Maxwell Cornet. He might latch onto a ball here as Weghorst wins it off Kuchka. Now here's Cornet, 30 yards out, ball gets stuck under his feet, and then Kayembe sticks a long telescopic right leg in and wins it back. Watford have it by the edge of the centre circle with João Pedro. Kiko Femenia moving up on his outside. He gives it to Femini, who had to check his run a little bit, couldn't run onto the ball as he would have wanted, so it slows the impetus down of this Watford attack, so they've had to go back to the centre halves again. Yeah, it was good urgency, I thought, from the Watford defence there when Cornet had the ball in a dangerous position. You can sense that they realise this is a dangerous situation, and they seem to up the tempo, but they're not able to keep that tempo going forward. Lovely ball inside, Josh King inside the area, angles tight, hits the legs of Pope and goes behind for a corner kick, and suddenly a ball slid in from the left-hand side by Hassan Kamara, had Josh King in behind Tarkowski, but the angle was tight for the shot and Pope dealt with it. But it is a Watford corner on our left-hand side, 0-0. Yeah, and I think the key to that was keeping it on the ground. You know, it's a nice weight of pass just in between Roberts and the defender. Tarkowski has to come across to try and track the man. He couldn't get goal side. Although the angle was against him, I think it was worth taking the shot, and he's ended up winning the corner, Josh King. But great little bit of movement, you know, the winger comes out here, pulls Roberts out to this side, a little gap develops, ball in on the ground, so it's not going to run out of play, and a nice time run by Josh King, and he gets his shot away. Rain still lashing down here at Turf Moor, and the wind swirling around this stadium as Kiko Femenia drives in the corner into the near post. It's stopped on the line. How have they kept that out? Burnley's back line. I think it was Aaron Lennon on the line who somehow got the ball out from his feet and flicked it away from danger. 0-0. Brilliant corner. Really low trajectory. Just missing that near post man, and it caused all kinds of problems right in the heart of that 6-yard box. The goalkeeper was nowhere to be seen, and it was just ushered off the line last minute. I think it's Tarkowski, and I think it might have been Aaron Lennon. I think it was Aaron Lennon that got the important clearance away from danger. That's how important it is to have a man on the post. Which has been less and less of a thing, I've noticed, from corner kicks. Less and less managers employing that tactic. Well, the problem is when you've got a man on the back post is nobody's ever going to be offside, and I think that's what managers look. If you can get the first contact and squeeze out any ball in there, you're winning the ball back with a free kick. 5 minutes to half-time on TalkSport. Ian Dancer and Trevor Sinclair with you on game day here at Turf Moor, the only Premier League game of the day. 0-0 between Burnley and Watford. Oh, Lennon's been dispossessed quite comfortably by João Pedro. You can hear the irritation of the fans around us as Lennon had the ball just taken off his toe from João Pedro coming from behind him, but King runs into Dale Stephens. But then Westwood with the ball over halfway was never going to give either Cornet or Weghorst a chance to get anywhere near it, and Watford have it back. You can just sense a bit of frustration around us here. Absolutely. Amongst the locals, Trevor Sinclair. Absolutely, yeah. They've had a decent half, Burnley, but they've not been threatening enough. They've been in threatening positions, but they've not actually got the end product in there. And then you can just sense it. Watford are starting to feel a bit confident. João Pedro, what a cultured footballer he is. He moves really well with the ball. He's got a good range of passing. Yeah. He moves the ball really well, and if he gets any chances, you'd expect he's very confident in front of goal. And then Sissoko has an amble in his boot and whacks it out of play on the far side for a Burnley throw. 3 minutes to half-time here at Turf Moor on TalkSport. So Scotland defeat England at Murrayfield, and it's Burnley 0, Watford 0 in the only Premier League game of the day, and Ben Mee forced to head the ball out of play. Bouncing ball, awkward in these wet and windy conditions. Watford have a throw right-hand side. They try and come in field with João Pedro from that right-hand touch line. Hits it against Eric Peters and wins another throw for the Hornets as they try and attack this the Jimmy McElroy stand, should I say, prior to the half-time interval. Yeah, I'm impressed with João Pedro's movement. He's obviously a very agile player, but his movement to get into little pockets of space, and if there's no pockets of space, he'll try and turn and look in behind and break lines. Good first half display from him. Kiko forced back to the midway point of his own half, and Burnley win the ball tight to the far touch line. Dale Stephens trying to release Cornet down the left hand side. That's an important foot in from Meda Kayembe, but it is a throw to Burnley as the ball goes out of play into the visiting dugout. and Eric Peters retrieves the ball from just behind where Roy Hodgson's standing, and will throw the ball back into his own half for Bernley. Plays the ball back into square to Tarkowski, straight back for Bernley, who gets his head up, will drive a diagonal ball into the Watford half, helped on by Weghorst, looking for Lennon on the right hand side. He got it almost from Hassan Kamara, but good tenacity from the Watford left back, and he gets it up to Josh King, brings the ball down on his chest, tight to this near touchline on the Watford left, rolls it infield. João Pedro allows the ball to run across his body. Kuchka now has a go for goal, and it's only only just wide. Trying to catch it on the wind and see whether it would swerve and dip past Nick Pope. Goes wide for a goal kick, but a sighter for Kuchka.
Yeah, they moved the ball well there. They got the ball in the channel. Josh King did really well. Good technical ability. Found his pass into the middle of the pitch. It went out to Kuchka. Got the ball out of his feet. Probably about 23, 24 yards out. And it's a Ranger. I don't think Pope was ever really worried, but he had a little look at goal and his shot was just wide. But good play again from Watford there on the counter-attack.
Heading towards stoppage time in the first half on TalkSport. Don't forget, boxing coming up at 8 o'clock from the Cardiff Motorpoint Arena. Liam Williams against Chris Eubank Jr. Live full commentary of that, and the best of the undercard as well, with Adam Cattrall and Gareth A. Davis, Andy Clark, Spencer Oliver. I think Conor Benn is part of our team as well in Cardiff tonight. Meanwhile,
he's a fighter that's come on leaps and bounds.
Yes, absolutely.
Unbelievable. Big future.
1 minute of minimum stoppage time that we're into now, just the one then, but there is a Watford player down. It's João Pedro on the halfway, just got caught with a heavy challenge. What are you looking at, Trevor?
I think that's what you call a reducer. He's looked a little bit too lively in the last 15 minutes, so
I see.
Someone's left a little bit on him. I'm just going to have a look who that somebody was. I think it was Stevens.
Free kick to Watford that Ben Foster's actually going to take, is he? Even though it's just over the halfway line. Blimey, if he gets this wrong. Actually, he's just moved it just inside his own half. Nevertheless, he's going to have to get this right and not pass straight to a Burnley player, or he's got a right old scurry back to his 18-yard box. Foster with his free kick then, in added time on TalkSport. Sends it up to the edge of the area, headed straight up in the air by Tarkowski. Might drop at the edge of the D. It's helped on for Ken Semmer. Semmer claims for handball against a Burnley player. McNeil just whacks the ball straight in the air. Helped on by Semmer to the edge of the box. But Samir again claims for handball, and the referee says half-time, and the Watford players surround Craig Pawson at the end of the half, claiming that he should look at the screen, I think, to check for a handball, because they claim, Watford, right at the end of this goalless first half, that they should have a spot kick. Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, I think VAR are actually having a look at it now. I think Craig Pawson just has the players to remain on the field for 2 seconds while VAR. I've had a look at it. Connor Roberts is not looking at the ball. His legs out, thinking it's going to try and try and block the ball, and it's hit his flailing left arm, which is low and in a natural position. So I believe no penalty will be given, even if it was in the box.
Check over, and Craig Pawson is telling the Watford players to leave the field opposite us to go back to their changing room. He's explaining his decision to Moussa Sissoko. The Watford players do finally now move away and head off back to their changing room. The Burnley players were all off anyway. They weren't sticking around. The home side. It's been a very tight and even contest between the bottom two in the Premier League in this first 45 minutes. Probably the best chance fell to Maxwell Cornet for Burnley, firing a shot at Ben Foster's near post that was driven past, or touched past the post for a corner. But Watford very nearly took the lead with a corner routine flicked on by João Pedro, and Aaron Lennon kept it off from the right in front of his goal line, just about sorted his feet out in time to get it out of danger. So plenty more to come, plenty more thrills and spills. No penalty at the end of the half for Watford, despite their complaints at the break on TalkSport in this miserable weather. It is Burnley 0, Watford 0. Okay, you timed it perfectly because the whistle has just gone. There you go, expert timing on TalkSport as Burnley restart the game. They're kicking from right to left as we look from our vantage point at the back of the James Hargreaves stand. So the Clarets heading for the Jimmy McElroy stand that they like to do in the second half of home games in their claret and blue strip. And it's Weghorst inside the area early on, Shot deflects and he hits the crossbar, comes out and it won't drop for Conor Roberts. Kayembe got the ball out of harm's way, and inside the first 30 seconds of the restart, Wout Weghorst so close to opening his Premier League account. 0-0 it stays.
Brilliant start to the game by Burnley. Got the ball in the mixing pot. Asked could you get on the end of that. He nearly does as well, and we're just seeing that followed up with Kone. A ball in from Dwight McBeal from the left hand side, quite low. He had to do a lot with it, and Kone wasn't able to get enough power on the ball, and it's an easy save for Ben Foster. But great start to the half for Burnley.
I think it was Samir that got the vital touch in as Weghorst was trying to pull the trigger from about 8 yards out. Burnley in their claret and blue first choice colours. Watford in their first choice strip as well of the yellow and black shirts, black shorts and yellow socks. Quick run through the lineups for Burnley. No changes incidentally at half time for either manager. Pope in goal for Burnley. Roberts, Tarkowski, Mee and Peters in the back four. Lennon, Westwood, Stevens and McNeil in midfield. Weghorst on his debut and Cornet up front. For Watford, Foster in goal. Kiko, Cathcart, Samir and Kamara in the back four. Kuchka, Kayembe, Sissoko in midfield. Pedro, Sema and King up front as Cornet is penalised for nudging Samir, who's gone down again. Now he went down after that challenge to prevent Weghorst getting a proper shot on target, and he's gone down again, Trevor Sinclair, on the far side of the field from us, and I'm not sure whether he's just doing up his shoelaces or he's got running repairs to do.
I think Cornet stood on his heel and his boots come off, so he's had to take his gloves off to then put his boots on and tie his laces.
Oh, it's a nightmare in these conditions, because I tell you, dear listener, it is still absolutely persisting it down here at Turf Moor, and the wind gets up now and again. It's not a constant gale that blows around this stadium. Incidentally, all the cat calls, you can hear it for Samir taking his time. His fingers probably aren't warm enough to be able to do his shoelaces that easily.
I was just going to say that, Ian.
Eventually he's got himself he's got rid of the gloves as well. Enough, he says. Dispense with the handwear, and it's going to be Ben Foster with this free kick for Watford. His clearance just about makes it over halfway. Burnley try and win it back. Weghorst sends it out to the right hand side. Lennon got his foot in but couldn't prevent the ball from going out of play. Burnley are the second lowest goal scorers in the Premier League with 16, but of course they've got games in hand on teams around them, and they do have the best defensive record in the bottom half of the table, which you would imagine should stand them in good stead for all the tests they've got to come to try and make it another year as a Premier League side. Looked like a clear handball by Hassan Kamara, but Craig Pawson says no, and away go Watford down the inside left channel with João Pedro. Gets toward the left hand corner of the box, tries to find Josh King at the edge of the area, but a foot in from Ben Mee won it back for Burnley. But if that had ended up in the back of the Burnley net, Sean Dyche would have been, well, the jacket would have come off.
I think Paulson might have been in the Championship next week, because that would have been a poor call. It was a poor call, whether it went in the net or not. It was a poor decision. His arm was high, it was raised, and he stopped the ball going forward.
0-0 with 3 minutes gone in the second half. Ball work back to Ben Foster by Edo Kayembe. Good low, fierce drive up to halfway from Foster. Finds Sema. Sema has to knock it back into his own half for Sissoko. And then Kayembe. Home fans trying to get behind their team once again as the ball's back with Ben Foster. Looks up and then drills another left-footed ball down looking for Sema, but Tarkowski gets there ahead of him. Sent down the left-hand side by Hassan Kamara. But it's going to be the other number 14 out there, Conor Roberts, who's going to take possession with a throw.
I've just managed to get onto the internet for the first time since we've been here.
Oh, well done.
Talk about this levelling up, I don't think it's quite working, but it's exactly 50-50% possession, and that doesn't surprise me because the game was the first half was almost two halves in itself. So
political satire from Trevor Sinclair. It's what we've all been waiting for. I couldn't possibly comment. Free kick down the left-hand side. Watford player was caught. I think it's João Pedro who's just riding around. He's getting to his feet. So Watford have a free kick about 15 yards inside the Burnley half of the field, out to the left-hand touchline, just near to where Roy Hodgson and Ray Lewington are stood at the edge of their technical area. Sean Dyche giving the fourth official a piece of his mind. Here comes the free kick from Ken Sema. Burnley players holding their line at the edge of the D. Left-footed delivery from the Swede. It hangs in the air, headed away at the edge of the box by Tarkowski. Watford have it back. Kuchka lobs it infield. Will it drop for João Pedro? No, it won't. It might now. Josh King, left-hand side of the area, finds João Pedro. Angles tight, turns onto his right. The shot is blocked. And Dwight McNeil gets first on the scene for Burnley. Looks for Eric Peters. Peters is clipped by Kuchka. And the ironic cheers you hear are because Craig Pawson's given the decision Burnley's way. As far as the locals are concerned. It was a good
first touch from Peters, showed all his experience there. He could sense he was getting pressured from behind, and his first touch was across the defender that was trying to squeeze on him. And the defender just went straight through him, so it was an easy free kick for Craig Pawson to give. But great experience shown from Peters there.
Now Connor Roberts of Burnley gets to the halfway line, had to go back into his own half because it didn't feel he had an option. Now he's been slid back into possession by Tarkowski, plays it forward to Weghorst. He lays it off to Aaron Lennon, who now skips infield from the far touchline. Weghorst, first time touch. It's Roberts getting into the area and his cross is put behind. Although I think it's going to be given us an offside flag against Connor Roberts. It is indeed. Roberts was offside as he was played in, so it's not a corner for Burnley at the Jimmy Macquarie, and instead it's a Watford free kick, and it stays 0-0 on TalkSport with 6 minutes gone in the second half. Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, that was outstanding football. 1 and 2 touch football down the right hand side. Again, Roberts involved, Westwood was involved, Weghorst was involved. It was really slick, quick passage of play. In the end, I think the runners just gone a little bit early, but they were in down the right hand side and really impressed with that football area.
Don't forget, there is a commentary going on TalkSport 2 as well right now in the Championship. It's still Swansea 1, Blackburn 0, that early Michael Obafemi goal. Swansea are down to 10 though. Ryan Manning was sent off for a second yellow card. 2 lemons make a strawberry and all that.
Oh dear.
And they've sent on Ben Brereton Diaz, fresh back from Chile, of Blackburn, to try and get themselves level.
It's a risk, but I think when you've got that amount of goal threat, and if he's not been playing as much football out there, I know he's just got off the plane, but you know him as an athlete. Bit of honesty from the player. I think if they have a grown-up conversation, they can clear that one up quite quickly.
Closing stages of that game on TalkSport 2 right now. Don't forget the boxing gets underway in just under an hour's time here on TalkSport from the Motorpoint Arena in Cardiff, including the main event, Liam Williams against Chris Eubank Jr. Ring walk should be around about 10 o'clock tonight, I reckon. Now, long throw for Burnley at 0-0 into the area, coming up from Connor Roberts on the far side, looking for Weghorst to get the flick on. He doesn't get the touch, and it's volleyed downfield by Kika Femenia, and Ben Mee will retrieve it on the halfway line and roll it back to his goalkeeper Nick Pope as Burnley defend the end away to our right, the cricket ground end, where the travelling Watford fans have made sure they're all sat well back from the bottom of the stand where the rain would still be lashing in. There's plenty in the bottom tier of the James Hargreaves who are getting the rain right in their face away to our left, aren't they?
Tough people from around this area.
I wouldn't mess.
They've got to be.
Absolutely.
I think we're just looking at the dynamics of the second half now. I think Burnley are playing to the strength. They're using the conditions. They've got the wind, and every chance they get, they're putting the ball up towards Weghorst and saying, "Can you deal with him?" And if not, we've got players that are going to be around and picking up second balls, and we're going to be on the front foot and putting you under pressure. And that's exactly how this first half started. The second half started to pan out.
8 minutes gone in the second half on TalkSport. Burnley 0, Watford 0 in this battle of the bottom 2 in the Premier League. The only Premier League game of the day on game day. In it comes from Roberts, another long throw, headed out by Sissoko. But the claret shirts will pick it up first. There was nobody on halfway for Watford. Ben Mee drives it out to the left-hand side, looking for McNeil, but he slipped at an awkward moment, did Dwight McNeil. And Kika Femenia will have a throw for Watford.
I think Ben Mee's got to be a bit patient. That's twice now in the last couple of minutes. He's tried the big switch of play, and his passing's not been accurate enough, and it's just almost giving the ball back to Watford and taking the pressure off them. He might as well be more patient, keep the ball, maybe play a couple of short passes until it opens up and something's obvious.
Aaron Lennon, centre of the Watford half, works it out to the left-hand side. McNeil wins a throw. Couldn't really do much with that, Dwight McNeil, so he did well just to hit the ball against Kika Femenia, and it's a throw from the left-hand side for Burnley. Now, whether Eric Peters has got quite the long throw that Connor Roberts has on the far side, the Burnley right, we'll have to wait and see, because he's the man that's got the ball in his hands, level with the edge of the area. Another player doing up his shoelaces. This time it's João Pedro.
It was just Lennon as well. If that was me as a coach, I'd be fuming.
Yep, impetus lost, you might say. Bernley works the ball back to the halfway line. It's slightly short, and it's seized upon by João Pedro, who's now running at a backpedaling Tarkowski. João Pedro plays it out to Josh King right inside the area, tries to play it back. There was a better pass on to Moussa Sissoko to João Pedro's left, but he didn't see him. Goes over the bar for a goal kick. Big chance gone on the counter for Watford, 0-0.
Yeah, waste. It was a poor back pass by Ben Mee. He's under-hit it with his weaker left foot. Not good enough, really. He needs to make sure of that. Brilliant basics. We all talk about that. It needs to be better. It's put his team in trouble. It's a 3 against 2, and the defenders have defended well in the end. Tarkowski talking. I think it was the right back. Roberts got into play, and whether it was the right pass or the wrong pass, it was a poor pass from João Pedro. You know, if that pass is better to Josh King, he should at least be able to get his shot off on target. It was just overhit, too wide, and that move certainly did lose his impetus.
You're listening to Talk Sport. Saturday evening, game day in the Premier League. 11 minutes gone in the second half. Burnley 0, Watford 0. Remember, we'll have football tomorrow, Sunday at noon on Talk Sport. Liverpool, Cardiff in the 4th round of the FA Cup, and at 12:30 on Talk Sport 2 in the WSL. Bit of a rehearsal for the upcoming League Cup final, Chelsea against Manchester City at Kingsmeadow. And then at 4 o'clock, Trevor is heading off to the City ground for Nottingham Forest against Leicester.
Enjoyed it last time so much when Nottingham Forest beat Arsenal. They've invited me back, which is nice. Looking forward to that game, East Midlands derby.
Yeah, that's 4 o'clock kick-off. You'll be with Hughes and Crofton, Jim Proudfoot. And Jim's currently preparing to do commentary on Spurs Brighton. That's 8 o'clock on Talk Sport 2. So you've got a choice of live sport listening from 8 o'clock tonight. Use the app. Swipe between the two. Boxing one station, football on the other. Beautiful. Throw into Burnley in their right back position at 0-0. Connor Roberts gets it into the Watford half, but straight down the throat of Samir. But his hooked pass over halfway doesn't get too far, and Burnley try and win it back. Cornet trying to feed it into Weghorst, but Sissoko picks up the loose ball, drives into the Watford half, but takes it too far. Now Dwight McNeil can't get past Kuchka. Poor pass from Dale Stevens, completely missed out Ashley Westwood, and Kayembe feeds it up to Josh King. Now out to Ken Semmer on the Watford left, looking to take on Connor Roberts. Fires it across the face of goal, but it's hit with too much venom. And drifts behind for a goal kick. But again, some wasteful passing. And there's a goal at the Abbey in the FA Cup. Ian Abrahams.
All over now. It's Cambridge 0, Luton 3. Musgrave with a deflected effort into the corner. His first name's Admiral, and Luton set sail into round 5. Cambridge 0, Luton 3.
We'll be setting sail here at this rate because it's absolutely tipping it down, so there has been all day.
Love the moves.
It'll be a fun drive home, this.
Ooh. Should think not. I'm just looking at all the players there gathered together. If they moved a little bit to their right or left, they would all be inside the centre circle.
It's very tight and compact, isn't it? A foul on Kuchka after an aerial challenge. I think it was Dale Stevens who was the offender. And Craig Pawson has given Watford a free kick. Kuchka just on his haunches at the moment, but he doesn't need any treatment. Just looking to see if there's any sign of any changes from either manager at this point as we approach the hour mark. Trevor Sinclair, who's going to blink first, I wonder?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Dale Stevens has just had a couple of minutes where he's making poor decisions on the ball. He's giving the ball away, give a free kick away there, and maybe that might be an area where Burnley might look to change.
Aaron Leonard's just clattered into camera on the left-hand side. Just a reminder that you're listening to Burnley 0, Watford 0 on Talk Sport with We Buy Any Car. Sell your car in under an hour, leaving you more time to enjoy the football.
We know that Jack Cork's a fantastic technician in there, and he might just think maybe bring him on just to show it up and try and keep possession a little bit better to build our moves.
Watford coming forward with Kuchka, midway point of the Burnley half. Shovels it out to the left-hand side for Josh King. Pedro and Semmer waiting for a cross. King moves to the left-hand corner of the area, plays it back for Moussa Sissoko and Kayembe. They both combine it, sent out to Kiko Femenia, right-hand side. Down the right-hand side of the box, just holds the ball up for a moment. Gives it back to Kuchka. Lovely ball in and headed straight to the keeper by João Pedro. Nick Pope dealt with it well enough. Lovely cross from Kuchka. First time onto the head of João Pedro, and he puts his hands in front of his face. He feels he should have scored. 0-0.
Yeah, brilliant play. I've got to say again by Femenia. He's so quick that the fullback doesn't want to be one-on-one against him, so he has to have a covering player that allows him the ball to just lay it back. A good ball in by Kutschka. It's a good contact, but good positioning by Pope, and he makes this save look pretty simple.
Burnley at the other end with Westwood, but a cross that's easily cut out by Ken Semmer inside the Watford box. His ball up to halfway, evades both King and Pedro. Me almost made a bit of a Horlicks of that, but managed to turn around and knock it back to his goalkeeper. So an hour gone on Talk Sport on game day. Still Burnley 0, Watford 0. Weghorst just gets away from him and from corner and bounces through on the wind to Ben Foster. And you're right, Trevor Sinclair, they do have the wind at their backs, and they're trying to use that, Burnley, to their advantage in this second period.
Got to be more accurate. They've either got to play a little bit more technical on the floor, through the lines, little 1-2s and third man runs, switches of play, but the straight ball, unless it's right on the head of Weghorst, it's going to run out of play. So they need to try and switch it up a little bit and be a bit more complicated with the play, Burnley.
What's Roy Hodgson thinking right now, do you think?
I think he's quite happy. You know, they're not conceding any chances apart from the first minute of the second half. This second half they've been quite comfortable. They just need a little bit more quality in that final third. We've just seen a great cross in there by Kutschka. Good contact with a header, free header as well for Pedro. They'll be concerned about that, Burnley, but it was a good header and it was a good save by Pope.
It's currently 0-0, and for the latest odds you can head to Betfair, which is the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Right now the odds 11-5 for a Burnley win, 21-20 on the draw, Watford at 4-1 for the win. That's all thanks to Betfair, where you'll get no cash out suspensions on match odds and over-under goal markets on football. It's 18 plus. The website you need is begambleaware.org. 0-0 between the Clarets and the Hornets here at Turf Moor on this windswept rainy night in Lancashire. Dwight McNeil just can't get away from Kutschka on halfway, but it's picked up by Eric Peters, who fires a fully 60-yard pass from left to right to pick out Aaron Lennon. Lennon, who's got Roberts on the underlap, but Lennon tries to go on the outside of Camera, who slides in and diverts it out of play for a Burnley throw. 0-0.
Yeah, great switch of play, one-on-one situation. Aaron Lennon tried to run out the full-back for Watford, Kamara, but he sticks to his task, sticks out a leg and makes a good intervention. Good defending.
Here comes another long throw from Conor Roberts into the Watford box. It drops back out on that right-hand side, but Semmer gets there first ahead of Roberts. Anywhere will do for the Watford number 12, and he's managed to find João Pedro, who's held the ball up well, tried to feed it through for King, but Ben Mee steps in on halfway and wins it back for Burnley. Played infield for Dale Stevens, just ahead of the centre circle. Options right and left. Goes left looking for Weghorst, who chests it down inside the box and just gets away from him. Bounces through to Ben Foster. 0-0.
Yeah, excellent vision by Stevens there. Redeemed himself. It's a good ball straight into the chest of Weghorst. He looks like he's trying to chest it past Vermeer first time, and Vermeer almost just sticks out a leg to try and get something in it. He gets enough purchase on the ball, and fortunately for him, the ball goes through to Ben Foster. But that's the kind of move you need. You can't just play the long balls up to him, because it's not going to work. It's too windy, it's too inconsistent. You need to be a little bit more detailed, get the ball in little angles, play into little switches of play, and that's where it'll open up for Burnley.
Well, Watford will soon have a chance for Roy Hodgson to reunite with his former club, because after a away trip to West Ham and a home game against Brighton away to Villa, they are at home to Crystal Palace, Watford. So it'll be a very intriguing afternoon. I wonder where Watford will be by the time Roy Hodgson's old club rock up at Vicarage Road.
Yeah. We've also got Manchester United as well, away from home.
That's right.
Very interesting run of games.
Burnley only lost 1 out of the last 6 against Watford. The last meeting here was during Project Restart back in June of 2020, when Jay Rodriguez is on the bench tonight for Burnley, scored the only goal of the game. And the ball is back on halfway. Just over 25 minutes to go at Turf Moor on TalkSport. 0-0 between Burnley and Watford. McNeil for Burnley, trying to wriggle in between a couple of Watford players. He's dispossessed by Moussa Sissoko, who's driving strongly over the halfway line. Plays it right for Juraj Kutschka, just chops in field to about the edge of the area, back onto his right and went for goal, but got right underneath it, and it goes over the crossbar. And Nick Pope will have a goal kick away to our right hand side. And I think we're about to see our first change of the night, and it's going to be Burnley making the change, and Aaron Lennon is the man being withdrawn. Now, an interesting change. I just mentioned him, Joe Rodriguez, who scored in the last meeting here. He's coming on, and Lennon's going off. So, does that mean that Cornet's going out on the left wing and McNeil switching to the right? I think that's the instruction that Rodriguez is just giving to Maxwell Cornet.
Yeah, I think that might help the balance of this side. Cornet obviously down the left hand side, he's going to be quick. You've got a little bit more support maybe immediately when you're talking about the ball going into that.
Well, Watford coming forward with Josh King, can find João Pedro at the edge of the area, faced up by Tarkowski, gets a low drive in but comfortably held at his near post by Nick Pope, but another half chance goes Watford's way at 0-0.
Yeah, good movement from João Pedro, again not getting too attracted to the ball, just pulls out on the angle, gets the ball, first touch across his body and gets his shot. It's a little bit of a weak shot, that's the only shame in that move, but good play again from João Pedro. We're talking about the balance. Bright McNeil now coming in on his favoured left hand side. He can look to get the ball into the feet of the centre forward from not too far away, and Cornet down this left hand side will be quick and he'll cause different problems to Firmino.
Inverted wingers then for Burnley.
Absolutely.
The last quarter of the game here on Talk Sport at Turf Moor.
I did think, listen, I've watched Dwight McNeil quite a number of times, and this has been probably his poorest performance. You know, he's not been able to find a way into the game, he's not been able to affect it in the final third, so it makes sense what Sean Dyche has done there, just changing him, putting him on, I think his favoured side. I think he's more effective on that side. He brings different things to the table, but he does bring a lot from that left hand side.
That's Trevor Sinclair. You can hear former Manchester City and England winger alongside me, Ian Dante, here in Lancashire. Here is Cornet, now stationed on the left-hand side as they attack the Jimmy McElroy stand away to our left. Ball sent into the area by Peters. It's swirling in the air, but well dealt with by Foster. Kept his eye on it all the way, and a very comfortable catch from the Watford number one.
Yeah, there's got to be more quality than that by Peters. He's probably about 10-15 yards into the opposition half, and he's putting a ball into the box. It's probably close to the 6-yard box where the goalkeeper takes it, and it's floated. The quality's just not there.
The wind suddenly howls around the stadium again as Connor Roberts clears the ball downfield. It bounces over the head of Weghorst, almost dropped for Rodriguez, and straight up in the air from Craig Cathcart. Ball really held up on the wind there. Rodriguez gets to the second ball, and then Cathcart with a lower clearance, but it still only drops for a claret and blue shirt. And it's sent out by Connor Roberts to McNeil on the right-hand side. Now a little ball asking Weghorst to give chase down the right. Will he get there ahead of Samir? No, Samir does well. And he's put it out of play for a throw-in. But it is a chance for Connor Roberts to launch another long throw into the Watford box. 0-0.
Yeah, can you switch it up? There we go.
They're taking it short. Rodriguez and McNeil. Can he win a throw off Samir or KMB? He can. Just couldn't keep it in play. But yeah, they caught me out there. Trevor Sinclair, I was waiting for the long throw and then they went short.
I've been thinking it for a while, you know, every time they get a throw in this area, Roberts is launching it in.
She's doing now, looking for the flick on from Tarkowski. Got to Tarkowski, dropped in the 6-yard box, and it had gone just beyond Jay Rodriguez.
Someone's got to have a gamble there. It's a great flick.
Meanwhile, Kiko reaches halfway, keeps the ball in play on this near side for Watford, and finds João Pedro, who's had their best chance of the game, a header straight at Nick Pope in this second half. Kiko is fouled, looks imploringly at the referee as he went to ground, and he gets the decision. Free kick.
I'm not sure about that one, Ian. I think there's a little bit of physicality in there, but he's not actually made a challenge. I think it's just upper body strength. He's caught him off balance, and he's not been able to stay on his feet. He's gone down quite easily. And Craig Pawson has deemed that a foul. I've not seen that as a consistent thing in this game. Craig Pawson's often let the game go. I'm surprised he's pulled that back for a foul.
Tom Cleverley's coming on for Watford to replace Ido KMB. Cleverley from Manchester United Academy player. He's on then, straight swap in midfield.
Yep.
Nothing really to change Roy Hodgson's system, and it's their free kick, Watford, midway point of the Burnley half, away towards the right hand side, where Femenia drills it into the edge of the area. It's turned over the crossbar by a Burnley boot. I think it was Ben Mee that got there first to put it behind, and it's a corner kick to Watford away to our right. 0-0 it stays.
Yeah, excellent ball into a dangerous area. Ben Mee's not sure, and as a defender that's the best thing you can do. If you're not sure what's around you, get your nuts on it and put it out for a corner. You can deal with this the next phase.
So a corner kick for Kiko Femenia, where the cricket ground end meets the James Hargreaves that Trevor and I are sat in. So it'll be a right-footed outswinger from Femenia. He does have a short option in Tom Cleverley, but he goes to in front of goal, and it's headed just wide by Bernley. I think it was back helping out his defenders, almost headed it into his own net with a diving header. Another corner to Watford, 0-0.
He'll tell us that he had that under control, missed the target. Make sure you miss the target. He's going to get there first. Again, he can't let that goal cross him because he doesn't know what's around him. If he can get contacts on it, deal with it. Make sure you don't knock it in your own net. And I think that's great defending from the centre half and the captain of Burnley.
Oh, super delivery from Feminine from this near side, and he'll have another corner from that position too. There's a clutch of Watford players just hovering around the edge of the area looking to make runs, as Feminine will drill this corner and place it along the deck, looking for João Pedro, taken off his toe. Suddenly there's a break on for Burnley, and it's James Tarkowski leading it. Weghorst going on his outside to the right, still Tarkowski looks for Weghorst. Weghorst tries to drive and swings across it, and he goes over the crossbar, and the counter-attack comes to nothing for Burnley. 19 to go, 0-0.
Yeah, I think that possibly, this is me guessing, but it looked like Burnley were expecting that corner and they anticipated it. It was a little one to the edge of the box, they anticipated it, and they were getting numbers forward very quickly. He's picked him out just a little bit across his body and off balance when he struck the shot, and it's gone high and wide, but good ability there shown, moving with the ball.
You listen to Burnley 0, Watford 0 on TalkSport with Now. Don't forget, with an Now Sports Day membership, you can stream all of the Sky Sports action for just £9.99 without a contract. Search Now Sports for all the details. 0-0 with 18 minutes to go at Turf Moor. McNeil for Burnley tried to feed it across the halfway line, but a little ricochet from the Watford boot took it back to Ben Mee. Tarkowski just had that lung-busting run forward. Finds it up to McNeil. Now Rodriguez going through the middle, but the long ball forward has come to be dealt with by the chest of Samir. He feeds it down the Watford inside left channel. João Pedro brings it down expertly, faced up by Connor Roberts tight to the touchline, rolls it back to Sissoko. Sissoko puts his foot on the ball for the moment, keeps it away from Westwood, and now it's Kamara on a strong run down the left hand side. He's taking McNeil with him, he's got to the dead ball line and he's won a corner. That was really good work from the Watford left back to win them a corner on the far side of the field where the Bob Lord meets the cricket end.
Yeah, Kamara done really well there. I've just looked at Dwight McNeil. He looks a little bit leggy. I don't know if he's been working too hard or he's had some kind of ailment or whatever, but he doesn't look like he's usually moving his usual self, because I look at him as a quick player, and Kamara showing him a pair of heels there.
He did. So it's a corner kick which Cleverley wants to take, but the ball's rolled away from the quadrant. Such is the strength of the wind at Turf Moor this evening. Now he's planted the ball down. In it comes then from Cleverley into the near post. Pedro heads it up in the air, drops at the edge of the 6-yard box. Weghorst lofts it out the penalty area, but Watford will try and keep it alive, and it's Cleverley out on the far side of the field. Oh, he's given it away. Chance for Rodriguez to move inside the Burnley half. Cornet screaming for it, gets a lovely pass from Rodriguez at the edge of the area. He's got the underlap from Peters. Cornet to the edge of the area, goes for goal, pushed out by Foster, driven back across, and no one there to touch it home. Rodriguez was right in front of goal, so was Stevens. Neither of them could get a touch, and it's a goal kick to Watford, 0-0.
Yeah, brilliant play. Rodriguez got on the ball on the right hand side, picked out Cornet with a splendid crossfield ball, about a 40-yard crossfield ball, didn't have to break his stride. He's run towards the edge of the box on the left hand side, cut inside on his right foot, hit a shot. It's a great save, I have to say, from Ben Foster. And then the second phase of that, the ball was whipped right across the edge of the 6-yard box, but no Burnley player could get the final touch.
0-0 here.
Excellent breakaway.
10-man Swansea have beaten Blackburn by 1-0 in the Championship. That was live on TalkSport 2. The early goal from Michael Obafemi netting Swansea all 3 points. They did go down to 10 men with Ryan Manning sent off. That's a big win for Russell Martin, and a bit of a blow for Tony Mowbray and co for their automatic promotion prospects.
100%, yeah. Been going great guns.
But that race, as it often does in the Championship, will go down to the wire.
Swings and turnarounds.
Trevor Sinclair and Ian Dancer with you on TalkSport. 15 to play here at Turf Moor. And Jed Rodriguez goes down and has actually fouled Hassan Kamara. He's lost his boot now.
Yeah, I think he stood on the back of his heel as well.
So Watford will have a free kick. No sign of any further changes being made by either Sean Dyche of course, was a former player and manager at Watford, lest we forget. It was his first job in management after Malcolm Mackay had left Watford, and then he came to Burnley. And the rest is history. He's coming up for 10 years in charge.
Done a fantastic job.
Now, long ball forward, looking to release Jay Rodriguez, but it was hit too long and too straight by Eric Peters, and it just bounces once and through to Ben Foster. Wins in the FA Cup today. You heard it live on TalkSport. Kidderminster Harriers beaten right at the death in extra time by a Jared Bowen goal. You loved it, really.
Honestly, the way that Kidderminster Harriers played, I wouldn't have minded they would have beaten West Ham.
Back to that in a second, because there's a cross coming in from McNeil looking for Weghorst, but it's Cathcart who gets there first, and Camera just elects to put it out for a throw level with the edge of the area, taken quickly. Dwight McNeil gives it back to Connor Roberts. Can he swing the cross into the box? Comes in field, plays the ball along the deck, but Rodriguez hadn't anticipated that. Watford clear, but only as far as Roberts. Out to the right-hand side, Dwight McNeil. Ball goes out of play for another throw to Burnley, trying desperately to work an opening as they attack the Jimmy McElroy stand in this second half, the hosts. 0-0, 13 and a half minutes to go on TalkSport. Here comes a long throw from Conor Roberts, looking for Tarkowski to flick it on. It's Josh King who actually wins the header and headed back out exactly where the last throw-in was taken by Ken Sema. So sorry, Trevor.
Josh King's worked really hard for the team. Obviously, he's a focal point for them going forward, but
ball bounces inside the area. Sissoko heads it half clear. Might drop on the right-hand side for Roberts. Steps away neatly from João Pedro. Drives the cross in. Rodriguez with a flick header just wide of the post. Tried to aim for the bottom corner, and it was only a yard or so wide of Ben Foster's right-hand post. Goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, brilliant cross. Rodriguez makes the movement. Roberts looks like he's going to put it in with his left foot. Comes inside on his right, puts it in with a little bit of venom. Rodriguez times his run really well, gets first contact on it, whips it towards the far post, and it misses the post by maybe a foot or two.
So yeah, wins in the FA Cup as well as for West Ham. For Chelsea after extra time against Plymouth, you heard that live on TalkSport 2. Palace, Everton, Huddersfield, Manchester City, Peterborough, Southampton after extra time, Stoke, Norwich and Luton, as you just heard from the Moose, all through for tomorrow's fifth round draw. This is a Premier League game though. 3 points up for grabs. 12 minutes to go. Burnley coming forward down the right hand side. Westwood forces Samir to put the ball out of play for a throw on halfway. 0-0 it stays. But the tempo's still there, Trevor said there. The intensity's still there.
It is, and you can sense it from the crowd. They're excited. They can sense something's coming. They're turning the screw on this Watford side. At the moment, they're staying fast and sticking to task. But the more questions they ask, the more opportunities they're going to produce. And
play on as Peters brings the ball forward, and it's only just wide. Now, I don't know whether the referee's going to bring play back and penalise a player that clattered into Dale Stephens. But it's not even a corner. Eric Peters swung across his shot a little bit from 30 yards out, and it goes wide for a Watford goal kick. I remind you again, Watford haven't kept a clean sheet in the Premier League since February 2020, the season before last.
I'd expect well, this would be a great turnaround, a great result for Roy. You know, he's only, like I said, he's only been in the building a couple of weeks, and for him to get his first clean sheet in his opening game, I think that would be a great result. Difficult conditions tonight, the wind, the rain. You know, it's a difficult place to come when it's like this. And I think every player to a T from the Watford side is stuck in there. I just mentioned Josh Keane, they've worked the socks off.
Here's McNeil with the ball into the box, looking for Weghorst, bounces beyond him, comes out to Peters. Peters left hand side of the area. The drive is brilliantly blocked by Craig Cathcart, who threw himself in front of the ball, and away goes Josh King for Watford into the Burnley half. Fouled by Stephens on this near touchline. It'll be a free kick to Watford, and maybe a bit of extra retribution for the referee towards Dale Stephens for that challenge.
Yeah, a bit cynical. It was great centre forward play from Josh King. You know, the ball, they've been under pressure for the last 5 minutes, Watford. The ball come out to the right hand side. He got the ball, he's prepared to run with it, take responsibility on the ball. Just done a little Cruyff behind him and suckered Stephens in, and Stephens fouled him, and I thought he left a little bit in there just to make sure he didn't get away from the challenge.
Don't forget the boxing coming up at 8 o'clock from the Cardiff Motor Point Arena with Adam Cattrall and Gareth A. Davis, your hosts. Exclusive live commentary. Chris Eubank Jr. against Liam Williams. Plus the undercard. Main ring walk should be around about 10 o'clock. And then the likes of Eddie Hearn, Jake Paul and Katie Taylor all joining Laura Woods on TalkSport Breakfast on Monday morning to talk more boxing. Free kick from Watford into the area. Oh, a clear handball from Samir as he tried to send the ball goalwards as the ball was getting away from him.
Bit naughty.
Even I spotted that. Free kick to Burnley. Seconds tick away here, Trevor. 9 to play, 0-0.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Watford, they've been under pressure a lot in the second half. They're sticking fast to their task. You know, you can see it there, the 4-2-3-1. You can see the shape, it's very obvious. Everyone's working hard for each other to try and get over the line and maybe nick it as they put the ball in there. With a decent area, no one could get on contact with it, but if they can nick it they will, but they certainly don't want to concede.
Josh King trying to loft it over the top of Tarkowski to get João Pedro in behind, but Tarkowski got there first. He sends the ball out to the Burnley right. McNeil under pressure from Camara, works the ball back to Connor Roberts, who's striding forward. Roberts, the Burnley right back, couple of step overs, gets to the right hand corner of the box, puts a cross in that's cleared away first time by Samir. Headed back towards the Watford penalty area. Rodriguez chests the ball down, but there was a foul in there spotted by Craig Pawson, much to the disgust of the locals, and Watford have another free kick and can eat up a few more seconds as they clear the ball downfield. 8 to go on TalkSport, 0-0.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, Ian. You know, the consistency or the lack of it. See some challenges they're going to get let go, and then other challenges where there didn't seem to be a lot in that little shoulder barge. He's pulling it back for a foul. So I think the fans, the players, everyone, we want to see consistency, and I'm not sure that's been there tonight for Craig Pawson.
João Pedro is coming off. He did have that best chance of the second half. And in his place is Cucho Hernandez for these last, 7.5 minutes plus added time on TalkSport. Cucho Hernandez on for João Pedro. Still plenty of guile with that change in what Watford could potentially create. Meanwhile, Burnley have been awarded a throw and Eric Peters nearly stacked it on the cinder track around the outside of the stadium. He retrieved the ball. I presume that's what you were chuckling at, Trevor Sinclair.
I was, yes. He had a little slip up there. We've all been there.
Here is Dale Stevens finding Ashley Westwood. Burnley working it from left to right to the far side of the field from us. Dwight McNeil, who's been stationed out there on the Burnley right since the change was made early in the second half to bring on Jay Rodriguez and take off Aaron Lennon. Now he's looking for Maxwell Cornet. He won't pick up the loose ball. Kiko Femenia stepped in front of him. And Watford have the ball on halfway with Josh King. King can't quite get away from Dale Stevens, but wriggles away in the end from the challenge, and then he's brought down by Weghorst. And he can't believe that that's been given as a free kick, Weghorst. And it'll be a free kick to Watford just over the halfway line. And again, maybe a chance to load the box or just to eat up a few seconds. 0-0. Just over 6 minutes to go.
A little bit of both, I would imagine, Ian. Again, I think that was quite a harsh free kick. You know, they've gone shoulder to shoulder. Weghorst, with his absolutely supersonic reach, has stuck a leg out and got something on the ball. And he's brought it back for a foul. I think it was a fair challenge.
So the free kick from Cleverley, drilled up to the edge of the area. Samir tried to win the header. It's half cleared by Burnley. Sissoko works the ball out to this near side of the right. Comes out to Kiko Femenia. Plays the ball into the box. The header is kept off the line by Nick Pope. It was Josh King who applied the header and just looped in the air. Fairly comfortable save in the end, but it was on target from Josh King.
It was on target. Another good ball in from Femenia. And it's more of a glancing header. It's speculative, and I think you look at Pope's position, he had it covered, but again on target.
Here's Cucho Hernandez, first involvement for him as he streaks down the left-hand side for Watford, gets to the edge of the area, the shot's blocked, comes out to Cleverley, good save, Pope, turning around the post for a corner. Tom Cleverley, hands on top of his head, he thought he was going to win it for Watford, but Nick Pope had other ideas, and it's a corner to the Hornets, away to our right, 0-0.
What a save that is. I think there was a deflection in there, it looked like it was going right in the bottom corner to Nick Pope's right-hand corner, and he spread himself the full length of his body and just got fingertips round the corner.
So a corner for Watford. Kiko to swing it into the near post, heads go up, and it's Peters that got there and headed it behind for a second successive corner to Watford away to our right, in front of those travelling supporters who've come up from Hertfordshire. Can they snatch a late winner here into the last 5 minutes? In it comes from Feminir to the near post, it's volleyed away. Westwood's getting chased, but Sissoko will get there first, and he fires the ball back to Ben Foster inside his own half. Left-footed drilled ball downfield, but straight onto the chest of James Tarkowski. Now here's Maxwell Cornet picking the ball up on halfway, can have a run at the Burnley back line. Coming in field now, Maxwell Cornet. Played out to the left-hand side. There's a pillow on the pitch. What's that doing there? Who brings a pillow to a football match?
Well, maybe that tells you something about the Burnley fans.
Ball clipped up to Wout Weghorst, who's clash of heads, and he's won a free kick. Went in for a header at the edge of the area with Kuchka, and it
looks like he's hurt.
Craig Cathcart rather, and Weghorst came off worst, and it's a free kick to Burnley, 20 yards out to the left of centre. Weghorst is still sat down just outside the D, may need some treatment. In the meantime, this is position A for a right-footed free kick for somebody in the Burnley side, Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, perfect. I would imagine Rodriguez will fancy this. You know, about 22, 23 yards out. Enough distance to get the ball up and back down on target over the wall.
Well,
very interesting position for Burnley.
Well, let's see who takes charge of this for Burnley, because it's Maxwell Cornet that's bringing the ball down and placing it just next to the vanishing spray that Craig Pawson's put down. Now he's about to pace out the 10 steps for where he puts the ball. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go, and down goes the old shaving foam, and the Watford 5-man wall has to stand behind that. That level with a penalty spot, I would say, the Watford wall, and there's a draft excluder behind that. Brilliant. I think it's Tom Cleverley who's doing the rather ignoble draft excluder duties.
I'd like to do that, because I think my backside would certainly cover a lot of area.
Well, Cornet wants to take the free kick for the wins, having other ideas, and it's just moving off that spot. Big moment in the game. We're into the last 3 minutes. Free kick to Burnley, 25 yards out. Maxwell Cornet standing over it. Left-footed effort to come. Here it comes from Cornet, hits the top of the wall and goes over the bar for a corner kick. I think it was Sissoko who got the deflection over the bar. 0-0.
Yeah, well done, the job really well there. It looked like it was a good free kick heading to the near top corner area.
Well,
but the wall stood strong and made sure they diverted it off to a corner.
Cornet's gone across to that corner of the two stands, the Bob Lord stand and the Jimmy McElroy, to take this left-footed in-swinging corner for Burnley late on in this game. In it comes Foster, can't get to the punch. King heads it up in the air. Tarkowski tries to get to the loose ball inside the area, but Cucho Hernandez just boxed it away downfield for Watford. Tied it up at the back by Connor Roberts on halfway. Back to Nick Pope. Watford push up just shy of the centre circle. Pope hits a long ball downfield straight onto the head of Ken Sema, but now Tarkowski heads it forward. Rodriguez volleys it out of play, wants to throw for himself, but it did come off him last of all. Don't know why he was appealing for a throw.
So trying to have the ref over, weren't they?
Yep. Last minute of normal time that we're into now on Talk Sport. Don't forget, choice of live sport at 8 o'clock. The live boxing from Cardiff, including Eubank Jr. against Williams on Talk Sport. On Talk Sport 2, Spurs against Brighton kicks off at 8 o'clock in the FA Cup 4th round. And then more live football from the FA Cup and the WSL across the network tomorrow. Weghorst goes to ground, no foul, says Craig Pawson. Lobbed high into the Burnley half, and Watford have won it back. Kuchka strides forward. What an important interception by Tarkowski, but it still ricochets the way of a Watford player. Josh King finds Kiko Femenir, turns in field from Cornet. Heading towards added time on Talk Sport. Still 0-0 at Turf Moor in this battle of the bottom two. And now Samir works it left for Camara, and he'll get it back in the left back position from Ken Sema. Drives the ball forward, looking for Josh King, headed down by Peters. Ball gets away from Stevens initially, but he does win the second ball And now Ashley Westwood drives it forward. Just 2 minutes of added time. That's all we have. We're into that now on TalkSport, and Burnley win a free kick just to the right of the centre circle, and Tom Cleverley gets a yellow card for the challenge on McNeil. Yeah, good skill from McNeil. Good breakaway as well by Burnley. Got the ball out right to McNeil. He come inside. Tom Cleverley tried to get the ball. He dinked it over him. Tom Cleverley took him out, and there was no advantage to Burnley, so the referee Craig Pawson brought the ball back for a free kick, and he's had to give a yellow card out as well to Tom Cleverley for his trouble. He's only been on the pitch 5-10 minutes. So this free kick for Burnley, quite central, only just inside the Watford half of the field, drilled towards the left-hand corner of the box, headed out by Cathcart, picked up by Dale Stevens, just lobs it up to the edge of the area. Where's it going to drop? Edge of the area. There's yellow Watford shirts converging on the ball. Lovely skill from Josh King to bring it clear. Takes the ball through Tarkowski, and then Tarkowski clips his heels. He goes down. That's a free kick. Yep. Again, I have to disagree with Craig Pawson, the referee. I didn't think there was any contact. I thought it was good work initially by Josh King, but I thought his Cruyff took the ball out of his control. He was going to lose possession. He went to the ground, and unfortunately the referee Craig Pawson's brought another foul again. So Femenia will have this free kick. We're into the late in the first minute of a minimum 2 that have been added on by Craig Pawson. Femenia will send the ball forward. Sammy has gone forward, and now Weghorst has had to suddenly go back and bolster the Burnley marking. They fancy nicking this. In fact, now they've left it for Ben Foster to come forward and take it. Left-footed drive from Foster. Oh, but it goes only 20 yards further forward. McNeil hooks it over his head. One last chance for Burnley to get it forward. Brilliant challenge by Camera. Semmer wins the throw for Watford on the far side of the field. There's just time for Watford to create another attack here. Oh no, there isn't. The full-time whistle goes at Turf Moor. Points are shared, no goals between the Premier League's bottom 2, but for Roy Hodgson in his first game back in the Premier League as Watford manager, he has earned Watford's first Premier League clean sheet since February 2020, the season before last. A real strong rearguard action. It's the sort of rearguard action that Watford fans haven't really been that used to under previous managers, but they saw off a spirited Burnley challenge. That Weghorst on his debut for the Clarets didn't really get a gilt-edged chance to mark his debut with a goal. Ben Foster made a good save from Cornet in the first half. Aaron Lennon cleared off the line when Watford threatened in the first period, but the points have to be shared in the end between the basement battlers. Full time here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Watford 0.